You're so provider. You're so real. I know you've been hurt. I know your love shy. You don't have to say it, baby. It's gonna take some time. You got my heart in the palm of your hands. I swear it's gonna stay there, baby. Give me half a chance. You don't understand, no, the full intent of my plan. Baby, I wanna be your sole provider. Baby, I wanna stay that way for the longest time. Baby, I wanna be your sole provider. Oh, baby, I've been waiting for a long time for somebody like you to give my love on my love day and night.
It's 13 past the hour of 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we want to welcome all of you. Of course, it is time for Talk on the Block. And as we indicated earlier, we're going to be opening up the lines to continue our conversation from this morning.
And baby, I wanna stay that way.
I know that there were several of you who were having some difficulties getting through this morning.
Wanna stay that way.
So now is your chance. Now is the opportunity to call in. The number is 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Of course, on the overseas line, 305-432-9624.
I know you've been hurt. I know your love shy. You don't have to say it, baby. It's gonna take some time. You got my heart in the palm of your hands. I swear it's gonna stay there, baby. Give me half a chance. You don't
All right, let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Tom Sofongden.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was listening to the program this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I was listening to a conversation that you had with a caller, giving some information about campaign and finance funding that the UWP is alleged to have received from persons who were seeking to get diplomatic passports.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard you challenging the caller who was saying that some Raphael who witnessed the negotiations and who have knowledge of the fact that money was paid to the United Workers' Party, and then you were saying that is not enough evidence to say that UWP received money, whereas I have never heard anybody from the UWP denying the fact that they received the money. So I'm trying to wonder, what is your rationale in trying to defend a thing like that, where over a number of years, a number of months, we have been hearing accusations and allegations against the Prime Minister and the government of the similar accusations, but where there has been no proof. And then based on those unsubstantiated allegations, we are calling on people to take a certain course of action. So I'm trying to find out, what is your rationale?
Okay, I'm going to give that to you now. I'm going to give you the rationale, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. It is clear, all right, that the Dominican Labour Party has issued diplomatic passports. That's number one. We know because Montferred, the Prime Minister himself has admitted that Montferred had a diplomatic passport. We know that Parish, going way back, Parish from Barbados, of Clico, was a recipient of a diplomatic passport. We can go further to Susan Oldie having paid $400,000 for a diplomatic passport. Corallo paid for a diplomatic passport, and the list goes on. So we know for a fact that as far as the Labour Party is concerned, they have in fact issued diplomatic passports. And as the government of Dominica, now it is a stretch to tell anybody or to let anybody believe that an opposition party can issue diplomatic passports. It is just not going to happen. You cannot, as an opposition party, promise or deliver diplomatic passport. And anybody who would pay for a diplomatic passport while saying opposition is no less than a fool. All right, so that for me establishes the difference between the allegations that are being made by Mr. Sam Raphael and what we know is in fact existing now. And other lines are going, so I am guessing that there are other individuals who want to weigh in on this. Let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Your last caller is a police officer. And I will continue to say it as a broken record. There cannot be a law for him and a law for the other police officers. Mr. Cleville Mills calling Q95 and trying to spin the unspinnable or trying to defend the indefensible, my brother. It will not cut it. And I am calling on the Commissioner of Police, if he is worth the seat in the word commissioner, to put a gag order on you as to call in Q95. If you want to call Q95, put down that grey uniform and then be as an ordinary citizen, not a public servant, and you can share your views. We will welcome it. That's one. Mr. Thompson, again, I heard your caller this morning, the same caller that Mr. Mills is referring to. It is on record with all the other proof that you gave him a while ago. It is their lead spinner in the name of Tony Astafan that this evidence that they want must come from. Because he said everybody in Dominica know it now and heard it. Susan Oldie paid 400,000 US dollars for her passport. It was not given. It was paid. These are the words of Tony Astafan. And it was used. This $400,000 was used in the campaign of Roosevelt Skerrit, the Labour Party campaign of 2009. So you all want evidence? Mr. Astafan has the evidence that you all are looking for. So trying to spin everything out of the orbit and trying to blame UWP now for selling passports or selling diplomatic passports or offering to sell diplomatic passports, my brother, that will not cut it. We have Roosevelt Skerrit, who is an illegal prime minister in the office of the Prime Minister of Dominica. And we, the people, are demanding of Roosevelt Skerrit that he demit office because we cannot continue with that illegality. We will say it now, we will say it tomorrow, we will say it until Roosevelt Skerrit resign. And if the institutions that are there, that are put in place to make sure that happens, they are not doing it, we, the patriotic people of Dominica, will see to it, my brother, that happens. Thanks for the opportunity.
And thank you very much for saying it here on the big station. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, Dr. Fountain, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Dominican fan there.
Very good afternoon to you.
All your listeners, and of course to residents in Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dr. Fountain, I want to agree with your call, and I'm not sure if you would mind I call his name, Mr. Durant Loftus. Because, you know, listening to this gentleman speak, this is a man who speaks from conscience and from heart. Now, Dr. Fountain, I heard people trying to digress from the core issues that confront Dominica. Now, you as a doctor, you know, you have gained your PhD and you have lived in other civilized society. And in any civilized society, Dr. Fountain, everyone knows that the rule of law must apply and that there must be an independent judiciary. Now, I heard Matt with a program yesterday with the ambassador, and it was so telling that, to me, grave, enormous injustice has been visited upon Dominica. Dr. Fountain, you're telling me, this is Jerry speaking, that a lawyer, a meeting was held, and it was asked by the Labour Party candidates, or guys posing as Labour Party candidates, who has dual citizenship. And this one to be Papadoc actually acknowledged that he has a dual citizenship. So he's instantly disqualified. And the good ambassador went on to say on public media, on this radio station, that the court, Dr. Fountain, I was an officer of the court for a very short time in my life, that the court didn't want civil unrest, that the court didn't want Dominica to be destabilized, so the court rendered a wrong verdict, an unjust verdict. Dr. Fountain, we're living in a world where President Nixon of the United States had resigned from the presidency. Look, this former Israel president and prime minister just came from prison. Jacques Chirac, former French president, was convicted. Silva Berlusconi in Italy. And you telling me the court in Dominica is taking a position that, we do not want unrest, we do not want disobedience, so we are going to come with the wrong verdict? Dr. Fountain, what madness is this? Now, I am calling on the people of Dominica. The Constitution is our highest law. And it's the persons to apply the Constitution are the citizens of Dominica. I am calling on this one to be Papadoc and this rogue, corrupt regime that we are giving them 3 weeks to resign. 3 weeks, I believe, is sufficient time for us to put an interim government in place. I will nominate Mr. Atherton Martin as interim prime minister. Mr. Louis Robinson, you'll have to leave the U.S. I will nominate you as president. Dr. Fountain, I myself will avail myself to be commissioner of police. We need to clean Dominica out. And if Dominica is not going to be cleansed, we might as well open Stock Farm Prison and tell the guys, look, we have not been dispensing justice, so you all might as well all go home and we will start afresh. And we must take a counsel now, Dr. Fountain, as a civilized society, those of us who are civic-minded, who are independent-minded, who are democratically minded. We must get the ears of the UN Security Council alongside NATO, Canada, England, France, and the US, that we are calling, if these guys in 3 weeks, all of them do not resign, that we are calling for an invasion of Dominica. We cannot have that level of corruption. We cannot have that level of illegality in governance in Dominica. Posing as prime minister, posing as president, posing as high officials in Dominica. Dr. Fountain, this is untenable. This is untenable, and we are going to seek, we must come together very quickly. Let us form a delegation. Let us go to the UN. Let us bring the facts. I want this good ambassador to give us something in writing stating that he was there when this brother acknowledged that he was a dual citizen. I want Mr. John to keep, some expired tear gas canisters, have the date the expired tear gas were used on the Salisbury people. We need to bring this, we need to terminate this life of this government. We cannot have this type of governance in Dominica anymore. And we are calling on all those who have pertinent and relevant information to this cause to come forward. Our national anthem requires of us that we must come forward. We must have an independent, free-minded, democratic Dominica. We want the rule of law to be upheld. Dr. Fountain, what madness is this? And the court is taking a position that you are not going to dispense justice. So the court is selective in dispensing justice. Dr. Fountain, you see, that is why I don't visit Dominica often anymore, because I am just not sure. I mean, I heard when they were rounding up you all, I mean, and kidnapping you all out of all the homes, that one of the officers said to Johnson Boston, oh, they send us for you. Boston, this is not how policing work. If police have to come at my home, they have to get a warrant stating that they're looking for illegal guns, they're looking for drugs, they're looking for whatever they're looking for. Police do not show up on private property, in private residence saying, oh, they send us for you. Dr. Fountain, we need to bring this thing to an end. And if this thing continues more than 3 weeks, Dominica is doomed. And I'm calling on people like Afi, let us get together. These guys who call me off here, let us form a committee and let us head to the UN. We cannot have this government continuing. And this is why these guys are doing what they're doing. We have no bridges, we have no airports, we have no roads, we have no proper tunnel, we have unemployment that is highest. Our agriculture sector has been dismantled. Every productive sector in Dominica has been destroyed. And this is why these guys are giving away Dominica birthright. And I am calling for an immediate cease of selling of Dominica passport. We have enough talent, we have enough creativity, we have enough ambitious people to move Dominica forward. So Dr.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
Contribution this afternoon. And this is what I'm calling for. We need to get to the ears of the UN.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Much.
Thank you very much for this. 28 past the hour of 1 o'clock. We continue with more of your telephone calls and the hot seat. Good afternoon.
Yes, Dr. Fountain. Dr. Fountain, does evidence needed on both sides of the coin? Because the guy here is talking about the ambassador said that Skerrit told him that he had a dual citizenship. Isn't there a responsibility on those who are taking that matter to court to get the evidence of a picture of the passport?
Okay, let me ask you this. How do you think that would have been possible?
I can tell you.
Yeah, tell me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You don't take it to court because you don't have evidence. That's how it's possible. Because you cannot. Let me give an example.
No, let me tell you how it works in the real world. The judge orders the defendant to produce his passport. He can either say, well, I am not a French citizen, I don't have the passport, or he said, yes, I am, and here is my passport. It has happened in Jamaica. It has happened in other jurisdictions. It did not happen in Dominica. There was a travesty of justice. That was, yes, it happened in Jamaica. Let me tell you, the case with this dual citizenship that set the standard for the law. I can't remember the exact name. I wish I remembered it so you could look it up. But just if you Google Jamaica dual citizen case, you will find that this individual was ordered by the court to present his U.S. passport to the court, and he was disqualified. So there is precedence for it. There is legal precedent, and that is how it is done. Okay.
The fact that you're missing is that it was publicly known that he traveled on an American passport. That evidence came to the court. Okay?
So what difference does it make?
The court could have moved on the evidence that they had, that he traveled from Jamaica, and the document that he traveled from Jamaica to the U.S. was brought to court, Dr. Fountain. So then there was evidence that he had a passport. So he could not say he don't have it. Unlike Roosevelt Skerrit, there was no evidence that he had one.
You keep saying there was no evidence. You keep saying there was no evidence. There was no evidence brought to the court in that sense. But remember, the court was presented with the passport number, the date of issue, the place of issue, and all of the particulars. The court was presented with that information. Don't forget that. The court was presented with the information that this passport existed. It was presented with that information. Okay? So the judge had at that point to rule that the evidence asked the Prime Minister to present his passport. She did not. She erred according to the law, and that's what we need to remember. Anyway, I thank you for weighing in on this.
Didn't you appeal that case? Didn't you all appeal that case?
But listen, the fact of the matter is...
Did you appeal that case?
That particular case with the Prime Minister?
Yes.
Yes, and what did the appellate court say?
And what did the appeal court say? I'm asking you.
The appellate court basically found that there was some errors made in the lower court, but it was not redressed either.
Oh, it was not redressed. So the appeal court erred also.
Yes, absolutely.
So and what's the next legal action course you have?
Well, what else is there? Court, I mean, there is nothing. There is nothing else, right?
You see, Thompson Fountain, evidence goes both sides. You want evidence from Sam Raphael. When Sam Raphael told you that I was present in the sale of promise of sale of diplomatic passport, you all want evidence. When the Huffington Post asked Linton, there is evidence that money changed hand to Roosevelt Skerrit. He said, Thompson Fountain get a tip-off. The evidence he had. When Thompson Fountain stood on that, Thompson Fountain sent a letter to Skerrit via Dr. Somebody and tell Skerrit that I willing to take that back and apologize publicly if you withdraw the suit. That is the kind of evidence that you're talking about.
Anyway, all right, caller.
Where did I get that? Where did I get that?
Caller, thank you very much. I appreciate your intervention this afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you. More of a telephone calls. Good afternoon. It's 27 before 2.
Really and truly, Dr. Fountain, how much can you take with this guy? I mean, it's true, we're in a democracy. But I think that guy is getting really ridiculous now. This man had the same argument with you this morning on the same issue. What is his problem? Skerrit has a French passport. I know for a fact that Skerrit has a French passport. At the meeting with Crispin Gregoire, Skerrit, when Ali Clarence asked, is there anybody with foreign passport? Sergio, Skerrit, and Crispin raised their hands. Skerrit, for a fact, told Crispin that he had to go to Barbados to recruit. Oh shit! I'm losing my train of thought. I'm so pissed with that guy.
I know, but
he had to renounce.
You know,
he asked Crispin Gregoire to renounce his citizenship before he go to register to contest the seat at Granby.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
So what's the guy? What is his problem? What's his point? What is he trying to bring across to you? Crispin had one. Ron Green renounced his citizenship, American. Crispin didn't because he didn't contest the seat. Because Skerrit insists that Crispin did it. But Crispin didn't do it because he did not get the opportunity to contest the seat. Skerrit never wanted Crispin Gregoire to contest the seat because he knew that Crispin was tough competition for him. Crispin would have been the Prime Minister. Skerrit went in as Prime Minister by default, you know, according to the Constitution of the Labour Party. Ambrose George was next in line, but because of his misconduct and what have you, Brother O had the opportunity to be interim Prime Minister. Skerrit did not give Brother O the opportunity because they went another meeting at his back. And Liverpool is the one who have us in this condition today with Skerrit because he went ahead and bring Skerrit in as Prime Minister illegally, and he knew that. Liverpool knew what he did. It was wrongful, and Liverpool, may his soul rest in peace. He was my really, really good buddy. I love this man to death. But he really and truly blundered, Dr. Fountain. He blundered tremendously He's the one who have us in that situation today. So tell this guy that's bad news, just leave it alone. He keep arguing with you for what? He haven't got any point. Sam Raphael, to me, is a traitor. He's nothing but a traitor. To go out there and tell the public, the world and the region that he was at a meeting with the United Workers' Party where they were in a transaction to sell a diplomatic passport. Where is that diplomatic passport? Nobody knows about it. But we know Monfaras and all the other criminals have our diplomatic passport from Skerrit. We know for a fact they all were picked up. So tell this caller, do not call and argue with you concerning that. He has no facts, he has no evidence, and he should not argue on facts that he do not know. Dr. Fontaine, have a great day. God bless you. God bless Dominica.
All right, thank you very much. And of course, you know, we are talking, and Dominica is very politicized, so we are talking politics this afternoon. And I think one of the important things that we must bring into the conversation is the whole issue of electoral reform, and whether we're going to continue to allow individuals living in the British and the U.S. Virgin Islands to provide tickets against the laws of Dominica, to just go so contrary to the law, in the spirit of our Constitution, to continue to usurp the rule of law in Dominica by illegally paying for the importation of voters into Dominica. These are the kinds of questions that we need to ask. And the previous caller who was trying to make a case about evidence, I hope and I pray that you will be able to defend equally well your own behavior with regards to the paying of tickets for Dominicans overseas who are otherwise not legal to vote in those elections in Dominica. These are serious crimes that must be dealt with when the time arises. More of the telephone calls as we continue here in the afternoon at 21 before the hour of 2 o'clock. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, a very good afternoon.
Dr. Fontaine, you must be very aware of callers who just tying up the line with their rhetoric. You must be very much aware of them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't let them speak, you know. But you must be aware of their strategy to just tie up the line to block other callers. Anyway, that's not what I call to say. I just saying that.
All right. Yes, sure. Mm-hmm.
Right. This morning, Parry Bellot alluded to the fact that Ron Green was also a dual citizenship. But from what I have always heard about that dual citizenship, is not only having a dual citizenship that makes you ineligible to go up for as a candidate. Is how you obtain that dual citizenship is that will make it legible or ineligible. Because for Ron, there's a talk I always heard that if you got it as a child from your parents, that you can go up as a candidate. But if you got the dual citizenship as an adult, where you had to take an oath of allegiance to the other country, then you would have to revoke that dual citizenship before you go up as a candidate. So that is a big difference. There is not only being having dual citizenship, is how it was obtained. And I think nobody picked up on that. I never heard nobody was trying since morning to make that point. And Parry would be very much aware of what I am aware of. You know, so I'm subject to correction. That needs to be checked out and explained properly, because you know what people are going to say? Oh, Ron Green had it and he go up, and then they're talking about the others that had it. So if I might be subjected to correction, but that's what I have always heard, that is how you obtain the dual citizenship. So that the people who do not know that, they can get the message clear, because people like Parry and them, they are just spin doctors. That's all I have to say.
Wonderful, and thank you very much for saying it here on the big station this afternoon at 19 before the hour of 2 o'clock. And of course, we will try to get the definitive explanation on this, and I believe you're onto something with regards to the way in which it was actually obtained. This other citizenship was actually obtained. More of your telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Dr. Thompson Fontaine, a very good afternoon to you. This is Lennox Linton.
Yes, hi Lennox. Good afternoon.
How are you? Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. All right.
All goes well?
Yes, indeed.
I'm calling on this question of the diplomatic passports that were alleged to have been sold in 2005. And I'm not sure, I think I heard in 2009 as well.
Yes, he said 2005, 2009, yeah.
Just to go over this matter slowly. In 2005, let me back up a bit. Lennox Linton has been a supporter of the United Workers' Party from 1988 when it was formed. Okay? Since the United Workers' Party formation in 1988, I have not supported any other political party in Dominica. But I was not always involved in the affairs of the United Workers' Party as I am right now, as a member of the national executive of the party, the political leader of the party, member of parliament in the opposition on behalf of the party, etc. Back in 2005, the gentleman who made the allegation that the United Workers' Party sold a diplomatic passport or diplomatic passports appeared to have been more involved in the affairs of the party than myself, because after all, he claims, and people in the party confirmed, that monies for the election campaign were channeled through him or came into his account from foreign sources. But Thompson Fontaine, let me repeat, no political party in opposition can sell a diplomatic passport because they have no authority at all to issue a diplomatic passport. And so if somebody has money to pay for a diplomatic passport, the sensible thing for them to do is to approach the people in government to see whether it is possible for their money to be exchanged for a diplomatic passport. You cannot, in your right senses, be picking a party in opposition to put significant money down to say you want a diplomatic passport when the party in government is available to you as well. But there's something even more significant, you know. The gentleman who is claiming that the diplomatic passport was sold, he's also saying at the same time that he has never been involved in the politics and he has never been part of United Workers' Party. How did he get involved in being the channel through which money came? He must explain that. But he's saying even when he did that, he was not a member of the United Workers' Party, he was not part of the United Workers' Party, etc., etc. But he knows that the United Workers' Party was selling diplomatic passports as a party in opposition, which is ludicrous on its face. However, being the leader of the United Workers' Party at this time, I have made inquiries of the people who ought to have known what was going on at the time and what is it that this gentleman could really be talking about. And none of them know anything about any plan, any offer, any agreement to sell diplomatic passports to anybody at all. That is why, Thompson Fontaine, I have asked for Sam Raphael to present the evidence, not the talk, not the hearsay, not the I say so, the evidence that there was an agreement, a plan, MOU, or whatever, to sell for the United Workers' Party to sell diplomatic passports on a pay now, you will get the passport later plan. I am saying from the inquiries I have made, because I'm saying back in those days, I wasn't so involved, I wasn't that way involved in the affairs of the United Workers' Party. I was simply a supporter of the party at the time, as I have been since 1988. And now, in my new role, having taken the leadership of this party in 2013, it is incumbent on me to know or to find out what was going on, especially when these wild allegations are being made by people who claim to know. And based on the inquiries I've made, I'm prepared to say that this is an elaborate concoction. It never happened. Yes, the gentleman was involved in finding money to finance the campaigns of the United Workers' Party, but there was no plan to sell or to deliver or to hand over or to grant any diplomatic passport to anybody in exchange for money. And that is what I have found out from my inquiries, from my investigations. That is what I verily believe. And that is why, out of an abundance of caution, I have asked Mr. Sam Raphael to publicize the records he has of actual documents, signed documents, where people are agreeing to sell diplomatic passports. And I'm not asking for bank records of monies you received, because that has been established, that has not been denied, that you, Mr. Raphael, in 2005, and I don't know whether it was in 2009 as well, received monies for the campaign of the United Workers' Party, election campaign of the United Workers' Party. But, as I've been told and I believe, you have never received any money from anybody on any promise from anybody in the United Workers' Party that they would be the recipient of a diplomatic passport. And Thompson Fontaine, I want to leave that there right now. I just want to indicate that for all the people who want evidence and evidence and evidence, and the more they see evidence, the more they want evidence of diplomatic passports being sold, a new round of evidence that diplomatic passports have been sold, and I would presume are being sold by the Dominican Labour Party, is coming soon to a radio near you. That's all I will say for now.
Excellent.
But it is really disgraceful and unacceptable in Dominica that a political party can admit it took money from, it received over $1 million from Susan Oldie in 2004. And Susan Oldie received 2 diplomatic passports from Roosevelt Skerrit, hand-delivered in the diplomatic lounge at Melville Hall Airport. And people are still asking for evidence that diplomatic passports were sold. It is ridiculous that somebody like Leroy Paris could have provided all of that money over the years, as revealed by WikiLeaks, from the cables in the Bridgetown Embassy of the United States, of the monies that were passed to the Skerrit cabal by Leroy Paris. And he ended up with a diplomatic passport and not believe that Leroy Paris didn't pay for a diplomatic passport. It is ludicrous to believe that Desani Allison Madwiki, within a space of days, could meet Skerrit and then have a diplomatic passport in a rush that we knew nothing about, that she didn't pay for. Francesco Corallo, high-class, organized crime figure, just picked up a passport, just like that, from Roosevelt Skerrit. Roosevelt Skerrit just heard about him and loved him. He had no interest in Dominica otherwise. Roosevelt Skerrit convinced him to be our ambassador at the Food and Agriculture Organization in Rome. Here's your diplomatic passport. Even though there was no approval for you to have diplomatic immunity on Italian soil, you got a diplomatic passport. Montferrat. Again, that's another gentleman that they just found, a guy. They just found him. And in no time at all, he has a diplomatic passport. And the question is, all of these diplomatic passport holders who have ended up in trouble with the law in the separate jurisdictions around the world, go back in the record and find out what did they do, if anything at all, for Dominica. What were they involved in for Dominica? Absolutely nothing. They paid money, obviously. The money never came to Dominica, of course. It went to private individuals. But who is going to admit that? Who is this current administration, when they know that it is wrong, is going to admit that as the government of the day, they've been selling diplomatic passports? And the more you show evidence, is the more they try to create red herrings and create distractions, like they're doing right now. Try to put the focus on United Workers' Party and say that they sold diplomatic passports while they were in opposition. Hey, why not when they were in government? Why did they not sell diplomatic passports when they were in government? Why wait until they were in opposition to sell them? But you have been in government for 17 years with a record of any number of bandits holding our diplomatic passports handed to them by you. And you're saying, oh, it's just unfortunate. We're just bad lucky. We did the due diligence, but you know what happened. It is time that Dominicans move away from that foolishness and accept that you have a rogue administration facilitating rogues, scoundrels, criminals, bandits around the world to commit crimes against humanity. And one of these days, Dominicans are going to step up and say, that's not good enough for us, and we need a change. And as soon as they're ready for that change, we in the United Workers' Party are ready to provide the high-quality governance that the people of Dominica deserve. Nothing more, nothing less. God bless.
Excellent. Thank you very much there, Mr. Lennox Linton. And I think it's fair, you know, and absolutely, Mr. Sam Raphael, you made a very damning allegation. So please present the evidence that somewhere an undertaking was made by persons within the UWP to issue diplomatic passports. You need to do that because that's the only way this is going to be resolved. Okay, please present this evidence since you are the ones receiving all of those funds. So you need to be able to at least you will have all of that information if it ever existed. So let's stop playing games and get this out there and let the Dominican public see the evidence. I think it's clear. That's basically what Mr. Lennox Linton is saying. Honorable Leader of the United Workers' Party, show the evidence, and I think that is a very fair position. And I really want to thank the Honorable Leader for doing this and for basically taking that very principled approach on this. Let's continue with your telephone calls at just about 5 before the hour of 2 o'clock. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Dr. Fountain is I again.
Yes, good afternoon.
I want to send a message to Sam Raphael to ask him or to tell him that I want him to bring the evidence as to who else was at that meeting and who collected the money. That's what I want to send across to Sam Raphael. Because I think Sam Raphael is very, very dangerous. He's a snake. How can you do that? Because you're in bed with Scarrett now. You are opposing the United Workers' Party that helped you to build Jungle Bay Hotel. $6 million of our passport is sold to raise money to build a hotel. And now he's in bed with his criminal enterprise. He's coming with his nonsensical behavior and his criminal attitude to tell the world and the region that the United Workers' Party sold diplomatic passport. I want Sam Raphael to tell the world, the region, and the people of Dominica who collected the money, who that diplomatic was sold to, passport, was sold to, and who else was at that meeting, Sam Raphael. You traitor. You're a traitor, Sam Raphael. You're a traitor. Have a good day, Dr. Fountain.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go back to the telephones. Good day to you.
Yes, something from them. I don't
Listen,
know if you allow me.
no, I'm going to allow somebody else to speak because you've had a chance to weigh in on this. I'm going to allow other speakers to speak on this.
I want to comment on what Linton said.
What do you have to say about it? It's very clear. He asked Sam Raphael to present the evidence. What more do you want?
Can I comment on what he said?
So what more do you want? Don't you think that's the fair thing to do, to tell Sam to present the evidence and let everybody judge for themselves?
But that is so fair. That is so fair. I also want to ask Linton, if Sam Raphael, after he came out on CBS, when he did the CBS program, did Sam Raphael ever call him and tell him you should not do that because we did the same thing? And what was his response to Sam Raphael? Also, if it's evidence Linton wants, you will get the evidence on Q95, where the people that gave the money will be talking. I hope you will accept that at that time.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we're saying. So that's fine. That's fair. Thank you. All right, let's continue in the afternoon time. More of the telephones. Calls. Good afternoon.
Doc, blessings to you.
Yes, blessing.
I hope Matt is doing all right. Matt, blessings to you.
Yes, he's fine. He just could not be in today, but he's good.
Doc, I want to apologize first, before I say it. But that man is an idiot. He and another one, they tag team in on Kyrie. These guys are so senseless, they're foolish, and they have deliberately blindfolded themselves. Not just the eyes, but the brains is being impeded by the lack of optic visualities. They can't see with the eyes, and even the brains can function too well. And I heard that he was an agent, Doc, in the USVI or one of them.
Well, yes, violating the laws of Dominica, yes, the Constitution of Dominica to no end.
You have to shout that loud and come and talk all that foolishness for them to consider him again, for him to find favor with them. A police officer that called in that radio station, the man was involved in it was alleged that the man was in two serious crimes, against the country, against the laws of Dominica. Instead of being demoted, he was promoted. What has emboldened these people like that? The no law, no constitution, which Skerrit is living by the letter of his utterances, the no law, no constitution, and it is rubbing up on all of them. So rather than dealing with the security of the state and affairs of state, that police officer can call every radio station and talk his nonsense. He figure out nobody can touch him, no law, no constitution, something else. Doc, do you know that Donald Trump is being subpoenaed to bring evidence? Right now, Doc, on certain things they're investigating him on?
Yes, I do.
The President of America is being subpoenaed to present evidence to the court. So these guys are just living in their own world or deliberately mischievous because they're mercenaries. It doesn't matter about truth. They're just coming and trying to distort the whole thing. I listen to Roosevelt Skerrit. The same thing I talk about, he's talking about loyalty, the amount of things Venezuela has done to us. So now Venezuela is killing its people. We have to be loyal, Doc. And he's saying these countries that have the power and the resources that want to change government, legitimate government and democratically elected government. And you cannot just change a government for one little thing. Doc, you know the amount of things this administration have done in Dominica, Matt, Doc. And they're still standing. If you cannot just get governments out for one little thing, there are hundreds of things to justify the wrath and the fury of Dominicans, the righteous indignation against this criminal enterprise, and you're still sitting strong. So you think the Venezuelan people are Dominicans, that they are being very patient and overly cautious and maybe coward to a certain extent. So I am saying, my brethren, all that level of madness must come to an end, and all of them that insinuating or deliberately talking about the U.S. is the U.S. that brought Israel like that, and all of that. Might is right. Right in Dominica. Might is right. Roosevelt Skerrit doing what he wants. He destroyed families. He accused the parliamentary opposition leader, Mr. Linton, of committing a crime which he did not commit. When the investigation led back to Tony Astafans, he came in the defense of Tony Astafans. Look about the dual citizenship. The same thing, committing crimes against the state. But all of a sudden, they are the ones now that can tell you who is right and who is wrong. And the judge that made the decision saying that the parliamentary opposition or the opposition, the people, the complainants are supposed to bring the evidence or present the evidence to the court, Dr. Fountain, and saying, oh, I respect the brother from Granby, the ambassador. And all of us that said, oh, why didn't they come and say, oh, that is water under the bridge. Self-preservation is healthy. The brother know why he did not and why now he is doing what he's doing and saying what he's saying. And everything is about timing. I'm not going to hold Mr. Gregor responsible for not coming out in the court and say, yes, I was there and this and that. Maybe for whatever reason the brother did not present it. Let us not hold him to it. Let us deal with him now. He has something to say. Let us listen to the contribution. Can it be added to the whole fight against this onslaught these criminals have brought to bear upon Dominicans? So let us be sober-minded and stop trying to fight against each other while we are up against this monster. We can't win. We can't be fighting against each other while we are confronting a monster. Doc, thanks for your time. Blessings.
Okay, thank you very much. It's just about 2:02. Let's take a very quick break and then we'll come back with more of the telephone calls.
During this program and not necessarily those of WISE Q95 FM radio. WISE Q95 FM radio has not been able to independently verify the factual correctness of the allegations and statements made during this program and cannot vouch for their accuracy. Therefore, WISE Q95 FM radio will not accept any responsibility or liability for the statements or allegations made in the course of this program.
Looking for a weekend getaway? A day out with the kids? How about a whale watch adventure? All this and much more awaits when you book a staycation this summer. Visit discoverdominica.com or call us at 255-8221 for details. Have you booked your staycation yet?
Staycation, 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 staycation.
Play fast, play loud, play bold. Enjoy flexibility and best value from Digicel Play's new TV and broadband bundles. With Play Fast, enjoy 32 video channels. Play Loud gives you 46 video channels. Then there's Play Bold, 98 video channels. All bundles come with 50 music channels, 8 radio channels, and 8 megs internet. Choose the bundle that's right for you. Sign up today. Get free connection, free installation, and set-up box. Or sign up for our TV-only offer. Call 616-1700 for details.
When last have you been to LA Jupini Hardware? That long? Well then, come in to see what's new in stock. Kitchenware, pots, pans, plumbing and bathroom accessories, small appliances, garden tools, a full range of cutlasses, and so much more. Take advantage of our layaway option. Set up a gift registry for that special occasion, or pick up that much-needed item for your home or garden. Come home to quality at our convenient location on Long Lane in Roseau. LA Jupini Hardware.
Come home to quality at LA Jupini. Swing by for quality.
All right, let's get back to the telephones with all of your telephone calls. Good afternoon to you.
Welcome back to Dominica, Dr. Fountain. This is the brain, your friend. How are you?
Hi, hey, Brad, how are you doing?
Oh, I love the discussion this afternoon.
Yes,
very
indeed.
healthy. Let's not be emotional about it. Lennox has challenged the Sam Raphael to disclose. I'm waiting for him to go the wrong too. That would be an interesting dialogue as to try to sift sense from nonsense. The discussion is quite healthy, and Doctor, welcome back to your island. I know you love your country and you're back home. Do enjoy it.
All right, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for calling. More of the telephone calls. Good afternoon.
That was the traitor there. Good afternoon, Mr. Dr. Fountain.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you? Welcome back.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Dr. Fountain, I know you are a doctor because you didn't buy that doctor. You have been watching the news in America. You are a wise man, and I know you understand it even better than I am doing. You see the lies and the deceit and everything Trump is having up there. Trump has not done one single piece of work I think for America, if you watch the news will, than rural lies and all type of things. If you watch, we have one Trump in America, one Trump in Dominica. The only difference with the two Trumps is just that Trump in America is a millionaire. Have a nice day. Everybody will know what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go back to the telephones. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Funky.
Good afternoon.
Hey, but all of a sudden, all those that didn't want us to listen to Q, they listen to Q now. But give them room, give them the opportunity, Papa. They didn't know Q was nice, so but we there.
All right, thank you for this. More of the telephone call, 7 after the hour of 2. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon. Oh, thank you very much for the water. Finally got my bottle of water.
Yes, the economy made it so tight that it took me 2 and something years
to get it.
Had that bottle of water for you, doctor. Yeah, but doctor, like you alluded to earlier, I am really mad for anybody to even think that a millionaire or couple millionaires would have given passports in lieu of them winning an election. And you said that they would be fools. I am saying if a millionaire would give an opposition party money and hoping that when they win they'll get diplomatic passport, Dr. Fontaine, I do not want to be a millionaire. You understand me? Because these millionaires are fools. Leave me for how I am. You cannot expect to have people in opposition and give them money for diplomatic passport when they come in. And you know that one of the things, Dr. Fontaine, are you there with me?
Yes,
Somebody challenged me about why isn't Lennox or whoever taking Sam Raphael to court. I told the person, okay, they maybe haven't taken him to court yet, but why hasn't anybody decided to sue Angelo Ireland? And the person just broke down and went away from me. Because Angelo Ireland has come up with so many things, nobody suing him, taking him to court. But good afternoon, I don't want to waste too much of our precious time. Continue.
All right, thank you very much for this. As we continue this afternoon, it is Tuesday. More of the telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson Fountain and your listeners.
Very good afternoon to you.
So pleased to have you back where we can speak to you directly.
Excellent.
There's some situation that I am hearing going on with you continuing from this morning. I see truly the grace and the mercy of our Creator. You know, for an illegal person in the seat of authority, a prime minister, decisions made could be considered illegal, therefore reversed. So for me, I'm wondering what are the people willing to do about it? Because you want to let no man deceive us. So to know that, you know.
Hello? Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Seem to have suddenly lost communication. Please try it again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Thompson Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'm Dr. Rada. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Listen, these two guys that calls and ties up the station, for some reason or another, they seem to be able to manipulate you. Because it is really, you know, I don't understand why you tolerate those guys so much. We know Q95, you know, it's at everybody's station, but these guys just calls the station to tie the, you know, the program up.
No, I mean I mean let's face it. We have a 2-hour program.
But enough is enough. But what they're talking is really is a joke. I mean, the guys are not talking any sense. They're just pulling the program down into gutter. That is what they're doing. And you know, we the listeners are listening, and I'm sure 99 of us are boiling. Why isn't Thompson pulling that plug on the guys?
I will tell you why. Because let them speak, and then you refute what they say. That is how. Because there are people, believe it or not, I walk the streets of Roseau. There are people who believe what they are saying. So I think it's an opportunity to present the facts as it is, so people can understand this.
Yeah, but you cannot make sense out of nonsense.
No, but it's not necessarily for them, you know. It's for the people on the streets of Roseau that believe what they're saying, that believe that.
You're giving them too much time. You're giving them too much time.
So how else then do you refute what they're saying?
Just throw those guys away. Just get rid of those guys. Once you hear those guys, Pull the plug.
All right. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm certainly not going to do that.
Well, I'm going to keep calling you and telling you pull the plug. I mean, if you can tolerate them for that much, you'll hear me so many times that you'll start working with me. Pull the plugs on the guy, man. The guys are just tying up the station and making a mess of the whole thing. Okay, I'm listening.
All right. Thank you. More of your telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Yeah, quickly, and I am in total disagreement. Having to do with the manner of treatment you're asking that you should give them. I think they're exhausting the time you're giving them, Doc. They are overdoing it. But allow them to talk, and that's healthy. Within a democracy, we do not want to be intolerant. Whenever I call Kyrie, Simeon there, they cut me off. Since he hear my voice, they cut me off. I haven't got a chance to say not A. Is whenever K1 there, that's when I can talk. You hearing me, Doc?
Yes.
But Simeon is not allowing me to talk. That is not a wise thing to do. You can't be fighting against it and you're supporting it. Mr. Linton said something having to do with the UWP was in government, and these millionaires, they did not want a diplomatic passport then, but they waited when they get out of government for them to request.
Isn't that something, eh?
That's very ridiculous.
Yes.
And the incumbent, the ruling government is there. If they want diplomatic passports, they can simply pay them and get it. Why would they want to bypass the government? And he made that observation and request diplomatic passports in a promise that when UWP come there, they will get it. It is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And when they were there in office, they never approached them.
They never approached them. It is ridiculous. It is mischievous. It is misleading as well. And it's all that the manipulative game that is being played. They know how receptive we are to any garbage that is being spewed from Anthony Astafan's mouth and Roosevelt's carrot. So these agents, these mercenaries are going to come to add insult to injury. They're agents of deception. That's what they're doing. Thanks.
All right, thank you. It's 13 past 2 on an unusually hot Tuesday afternoon in Dominica. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Thompson Fountain. Do you know that Patrick John was convicted and sentenced to jail for conspiracy to overthrow the government, and there was no signed agreement for them to use to convict him? Do you know that? Hello.
No. I'm trying to understand exactly where you're going with that argument.
What I'm saying to you, Patrick John was convicted and sent to jail for conspiracy to overthrow the government of Mary Eugenia Charles. And there was no agreement signed by which the court made a decision to find that he did in fact conspire to overthrow the government. Okay? So there was no evidence.
There was no evidence,
there was no agreement.
So okay, evidence is only. Wait a minute. No. I'm not sure I'm following you. I'm not sure why that's even relevant to our discussion.
Okay, why it is relevant? Why it is relevant is because I think we are asking for Sam Raphael to produce an agreement showing that there was an agreement to give or to issue diplomatic passports to the persons who the leader of the opposition confirmed that was giving money to Sam Raphael. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying to you that Patrick Roland John was convicted.
I don't see the similarities there. I think Sam made a very damning allegation. He has to back it up. As simple as that. That's all we're saying. He made an allegation that needs to be backed up.
Yeah, he can back it up, but it did not necessarily have to be with a signed agreement. There may be other evidence.
Well, whatever the evidence is.
Because the reason is, Lennox is specifically saying that he wants a written, signed agreement.
Lennox said he wants the evidence. That's what he says. So don't try to tie things up. He wants the evidence, and that's it.
Well, but he said it is a signed agreement.
He said he wants the evidence, all right? All right, okay. It's 16 past 0 of 2 o'clock. Let's continue. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Let me tell him Patrick John did nothing close to what his government is doing right now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. More of the telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Spunkin. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, I really wasn't going to call. I think I just have to take a break from my little, one-day holiday and give a call.
Can you help us sort this thing out? Yes.
Yeah, I'm listening to this and I just really have to laugh because, these detractors and distractors You know, they will stop at nothing to change the conversation. So they claim that Sam Raphael claimed something that up till now they cannot produce a document for. But why are we even focusing on that? That supposedly happened 2 elections ago. 2 elections ago that they don't even have the evidence for, whereas we're staring, bribing, trying to make bribing legal in our faces right now. That is what the focus should be, that we need to have electoral reform, just as Crispin Gregoire clearly stated and noted yesterday. These distractors, all they do is they try to come up with ideas to change the conversation. The conversation is, Dominica is in a mess. We have hard evidence that our diplomatic passports have been sold to rogues and scoundrels and criminals. They're arrested. We have Madueke. It wasn't a hearsay. We have hard facts. We have Montferret, who was right there in Dominica with all the evidence that is surfacing right now. I mean, hard evidence, monies transferred, wired to accounts, gifts, trips. We have the videos. We have everything to show for it. Lapsang, who is right now on trial in New York. I mean, Corallo, who was recently arrested and extradited, right now getting extradited back to Italy. We have so many of these guys who are affiliated with the Roosevelt-Skerritt administration. So what is the sense of these guys just constantly calling to try to change the conversation? Another fact, Crispin Gregoire yesterday, who was in the Dominican embassy, clearly stated that the Dominican consulate right here in New York was used to facilitate voters to go down and vote. Are we going to sit back now and allow the Dominican consulate to do the same thing? Is that what Lauren Bannis is doing right now as we speak? You know, being facilitated with the people, the list of Dominicans. You know, Dr. Fountain, I remember many years ago, I was in other not-for-profit organizations that were, raising funds for different groups in Dominica. And one of the things that we did one time was to access the list of Dominicans, because we were trying to do a major mail-out to try to see whether we could, solicit donations to raise funds to assist with, some project back on rebuilding a church. We accessed that list, and then all of a sudden, that list just disappeared. It disappeared completely. You see emails of Barbara Daly. You see Peyton St. Jean coming to New Jersey. And I mean, it goes on. There were Christmas parties thrown for diasporans to come and congregate and get the list. And we know of individuals who called other individuals to wrong them up for them to go down and vote. We have videos of this man, I forget his name, Pepperman, the lady saying that she's waiting for the ticket to go down and vote. These are the things that we should be focusing on right now. Elections are just about 2 years away. They've been talking about a snap election. I don't know whether a snap election is going to take place. But the reality is the way that they've been pushing to make, bribing legal, we have to, this is the conversation we need to have. What are we going to do? How are we going to prevent that? How are we going to stop them? Dominica cannot afford another 5 years of Roosevelt-Skerritt and his criminality. This criminal gang of rogues and all these guys who are just opportunists. Sam Raphael. I mean, this man, true, he provided employment for Dominicans, but look at what he's made himself become. He's made himself become, another one of those types of people who just have to sing Skerritt song in order for him to get assistance to do stuff to help Dominicans. I don't understand. These are the conversations we need to have. People get all crazy and mushy over a prime minister cutting grass on the side of the road. Shouldn't that be the work of the public works department? I hear people crying every day about the garbage that's strewn all over the country. I grew up in the town of Portsmouth. I remember every morning at 4, 5 o'clock, the things would be passing, the men would pass with their shovels cleaning the drains. We had a thriving public works department right there in the town of Portsmouth. Where is that? We are about feds here and feds there and all these private companies, this one construction and that one construction, all these guys who are just feeding off of the trough of the Roosevelt-Skerritt administration, doing those types of projects that the public works department used to conduct. I mean, talk about public works. We had people, engineers, architects, skill the people, teaching the skills to future generations. Do we even have that anymore? Can people even build the bridges anymore? Can they fix the roads anymore? I mean, these are the things that we need to be focusing on. No. Why are these guys trying to change the conversation and come with stuff in the past? I am telling you, Dr. Fountain, I'm not going to sit by and see these guys try to make that whole election process legal. We're here. We are working very hard quietly. But I'm telling you right now, the day they decide to call election, and I see this lady at that consulate over there by the UN, just rest assured that she will be seeing us over there, raising the flag to let them know that we are not going to sit back this time and allow them to mobilize those people in the diaspora who have put that kind of regime on the backs of Dominica. We're watching them. Just try it. Thank you, Dr. Fountain. Have a good day.
Thank you very much for this. It's 22 past the hour of 2 o'clock. Let's continue with your telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Mr. Fountain, in continuation of your last caller and other callers, the only thing that this government will listen to or will acknowledge is the presence of we the people assembling in mass, in numbers, basically demonstrating, agitating for our democratic right. And I am putting Roosevelt Skerrit and this administration on high notice that in Dominica we will not sit by and see he and that administration basically rig another election under our noses. We are saying it loud and clear that we need the reforms in place. We need a free and fair election so that Dominica can once again be called a democratic Dominica. We in the Concerned Citizen Movement, I am the president of that movement, and I am positioning myself with other patriotic Dominicans to basically rally for our rights in this country. The diasporans have to do what they have to do. We here, we are feeling the heat, and we have to put ourselves in a position to do what we have to do. We cannot rely on the opposition. We cannot rely on the institutions to make this thing happen again. We have read that script already, and we know the end of that storyline. So we are saying, in no uncertain terms, we will not sit by and have Roosevelt Skerrit basically steal another election in Dominica. It will not happen, my brother. Whatever has to happen will happen this time around. We noticing that he's basically pussyfooting around with the needed amendments that has to be made so that there can be free and fair election. He will not come 3 months before, 6 months before an election and tell us that he don't have enough time. He has enough time. Other countries around the Caribbean did it in much less time that was afforded to him. Roosevelt Skerrit, my brother, the patriotic people are calling on you to do what is right. Do not let wrong sit on that throne forever. If you want to go down in the history books as a leader of Dominica, so that Dominica can remember you on a good note, please, I am begging of you, do what you have to do as the Prime Minister of this country to let us have our way. Let the people have their way in the election. Don't impose yourself on the people. We are not in North Korea. We are not in Venezuela. We are not in those dictatorial states, my brother, where the democracy is at its lowest ebb. We are in Dominica. We are parading ourselves as still a democratic country. Mr. Skerrit, I don't know how much more or in what way, in what other language can I tell that to you, but I am telling you you and the people of Dominica will not have an easy time if you single-handedly and your cabal to steal another election. Take note.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. It's 26 past of 2 o'clock. Of course, the conversation in Dominica at this time must be around electoral reform and ensuring that the next election, whenever it is called, that we have clean and fair elections in Dominica, which must involve a clean voters list that reflects the voters who are eligible to vote in Dominica. Let's go to the overseas line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Dr. Thompson Fountain. I'm not sure what happened earlier.
Yes, it got cut off, yes.
To Mr. Crispin, thank you for being so crisp in the information shared. You saw it crisp and needed to put a pin in there. So we're very thankful for that. Based on the call that calls and speak about evidence, it's almost that based on how we speak of that would go to court, to be tried. The relationship, between governments is significant in that, topic as well. Because when you think about where we are situated, between the French islands, would it not have been possible from one government, the appropriate departments to be able to communicate, with them, to be able to have found that information about that passport? And that again speaks to, people used to like to say it's about the leader. It's all about the leader. So that goes to show the heart, the motive, and the intention of that, leader having all of this necessary information that would have permitted, violation of the Constitution. And I see that action also against the people, because I'm asking, could the appropriate government department have done more? Because it was said that a passport number was presented and all of these things. Now, when we look at the importance of the declaration of the candidates, their assets, that, goes a long way. And it's important for them to be able to disclose who their allegiance, is to, because all those things would have helped out, in so many different ways. I had a police officer that calls all the time, and I'm asking him, is he not concerned, with the many young people that find themselves, into transgression, breaking, or not abiding by the very law and the law of the land? I mean, can you not generate some energy, to be, address these young people? Because many a times persons find themselves in situations because they do not know better, So I believe if it is that, you're in that position, and especially it is being quoted that, you know the law, in the word, you can be able to relate, to that. So we can see clearly that an evil in the system, and those who do evil are being exposed now. So I'm calling out to those who call themselves by the name of the Creator. If we are called, salt and light of the earth, seeing that all of this going on, and knowing that the Prime Minister had quoted, and that was against our very Creator to be able to say no law, because if we understand who the Creator is, we know that He's the lawgiver, and He gives only that which is of Himself, His very word. So what are you all sitting back there and not being able to address, knowing that you all have been deceived? I believe that is another, time to embrace the grace and the mercy of the Creator being offered to you all as a nation, as a people once again. So are you all going to act? Let us come and reason together. Dr. Thompson Fountain, thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything you want is gone. Got a big bright smile, but my days are dark. Hungry till I can barely walk. Oh, so watch the look on my face.
It's just about 29 before they were 3 o'clock in the afternoon time.
Only God knows.
This is Talk on the Block for another Tuesday.
So watch the look on my face. No, she's the sweet.
Just taking a short interlude of music.
Telling her body wasn't in her dreams, no.
Cool down tempers a bit.
No, because we
Bring the temperature down some.
know the story, don't judge the book. Please don't.
And let us continue to put our hearts and minds together to move this country forward the right way.
It is only for
And the right way means ensuring that there are clean elections in Dominica.
underneath my pride.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Though it's only for a while, till my worries subside, I will sweep my troubles underneath.
You know, I was just thinking, there are individuals calling for evidence about passports that were never issued. And when the passports were actually issued, they say nothing. I mean, this is a strange country.
All of them, I say, hey,
Oh my goodness me.
tell you me there, yeah. Friend, you are look.
We are not talking about figments of people's imagination. We're talking about passports issued from Dominica, handed to individuals. These are physical passports in the hands of persons, and not a word about those.
So when you feel like stuck, just don't give up. Don't give up. You have a life, so just go and look up. John Lord knows the look on my face. So while I smile, my heart cries. No one knows the pain I feel inside. Please don't watch the look on my face. No, even though I smile.
All right, it's time to get back to the telephones, get back to your calls and this talk on the block for today, Tuesday. Let's go to the telephones. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Fontaine.
Very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I listened this morning and there were two important points made. One by Norman Schillingford and one by Mr. Dangerben from Point Michel. I don't know if I could touch on both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. Schillingford made a very important point concerning election day petitioning the Prime Minister using the resources of the state, by that the SSU, to escort him into the constituencies of your constituency. You remember me, my name is Robin. I reached at the election day, I reached up there because of that.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, Prime Minister Skevit was there in Grand Fond on the morning of the election, and his agents were handing out money, cash.
And there was a coaster bus full of SSU and people being paid by the state to protect Skevit and his people to actually canvass people and pay enough people, bribing people to vote. To me, that is serious, and the international community should know about these things. These things should be highlighted. After they left Grand Fond, I followed them. They went into Castle Bruce. They did the same thing. They further went on to Carib territory, did the same thing, paying people and have coastal load of people in military fatigues, military uniforms, escorting him to actually interfere in the election. From Carib territory, they went to Bells. And these are at least four of the constituencies that was heinously, stolen and taken away from the opposition, And I figure these things, we should take note of that. The opposition must take note of that and put that in the charges against that.
Yes, I agree. I never even thought of it before, but now that it was mentioned this morning, I say, oh yes, but that makes sense. I mean, the police really should not be doing this. They really should not be escorting Prime Minister Skevit to do those illegal deeds, and they then become culpable. I agree.
It shows that you interfere in election.
Yes, I agree. They are very culpable. Yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, now with Mr. Dangerben's point of with Ambassador Gregor, I find that kind of diplomacy I don't like. Because when he says, talking about Venezuela, I wanted to raise the point even yesterday. Because what's happening in Venezuela, you're talking about the oligarchy. Look at the situation in Dominica. The government of Dominica actually destroyed the private sector. These people not saying nothing. Look at which churches. Look at all of them are suffering now, even depending on the state. When they, in fact, should be lending money to the state has to be giving them $500,000 and all these things to run their commerce. You see? And that wasn't so. This government of Skevit give the private sector business economy to the Chinese citizens on a platter. And these people should be fighting for their economic, the equity, the socio-economic equity, and they stay silent. And to me, that is another wrong. And it is just like the oligarchy. Who is the oligarchy in Dominica? What we have in Dominica right now, because that type of bourgeoisie we had, the estate bourgeoisie, has fallen because agriculture fall. We have a new type of bourgeoisie in Dominica, which I call black bourgeoisie, or nouveau rich, of the same kleptomaniac that in power. Can't we see what's happening? Even the people in the private sector, we have a set of kleptomaniacs posing as a nouveau bourgeoisie in our country, black bourgeoisie, that had nothing before. And Mr. Greco should look at what he's saying about the oligarchy. The oligarchy in Venezuela was destroyed for Chavez and them to control power. The oligarchy people, they were creating jobs. All the malls in Venezuela is shut. Venezuela is not producing nothing. Venezuela produces some of the best leather works in the world, the best sort of artistry in the world. You know, they produce a lot of things, not only oil they had, and Chavez made the economy an oil-based economy. And that is what these guys do. That's why they tried the geothermal thing. They thought they would get enough money from the geothermal that they could lock down our economy and they would be in power forever. You understand where I'm coming from? And these are points that some ordinary people make that we have to take on board. Because these guys are there, I mean, they actually destroy the private sector in Dominica. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And thank you for making two very critical points there. At 22 before the hour of 3 o'clock. Good afternoon.
Doc, something quickly. After the Robin Good observation, I yesterday when I heard the talk about the rich people in Venezuela, I really was, I was a little skeptical, but he says his opinion, that's how we watch it, and I don't know. But Doc, you see that thing about trying to change the conversation the lady from the diaspora was saying? Mm-hmm. I think it's deliberate, it's systematic. All of a sudden, look at the timing. Sam Raphael, because the whole thing about electoral reform, it is, that is the new craze right now, electoral reform. And the Venezuela, and what we are doing about Venezuela, right now, you know what the talk is, Doc? The workers sell passports while they're out of office, 2009 and 2005, Doc. And everybody, that is what they're talking about, all you sell passports. Lie, you think, Joe Rose, so everyone.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
That's why I felt we needed to address it, and put it to bed. Yes.
Yes, for real. And in short, let other people call. Doc, religious ministers, please get all your heads off the clouds and try to pull the people them down, because I know they're up there deeper than all you. They're in space right now. The world is your home. The world is your home. That foolishness, this world is not my home. I'm just passing through. We are our ancestors. We have been reborn, rejuvenated. We have been rebirthed. We are not going anywhere. That nonsense about going in heaven. So let's carry them to Dominica to hell, because it's in heaven I go in. Wait another 2 million years, and you will see if you're going in heaven. Fight for Dominica, that is prime property. Russians and Chinese and all, let me not say come in and take over Dominica, and you sit down there saying the world is not your home, you're just passing through. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Let's take a couple more of the telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother and Patriot.
Yes, good afternoon.
I just want to make a few comments. The police want to make the comparison as to saying with Patrick John being imprisoned and wanting evidence written, like say there was no written contract as to passport being said. That do not have to be written. We want to give you money without any written agreement, without agreement by confirmation that when you get in power. First of all, I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe somebody with money wants a diplomatic passport. We would never approach a government that's already distributing and selling passports or giving passports away. We never approach them and give them payment instead of approaching an opposition, and that's not sure of winning an election. Another note, by Sam Raphael, you see, the behavior of Sam Raphael and Sam Raphael was really used. You see that in the dog is cornered. The reaction of Sam Raphael too much you are making these accusations. It's like a cornered dog, man. They're cornered So then I said, let me hit that because, you know, it's the chance of trying to send back the thing on you. Something that we have evidence about. One is like a corner dog. There's no behavior of a corner dog. Partially like this morning, we have to comparison to Rangel. In admittance, he confirmed admitting that Roosevelt's carrot was a French citizen. That's an admittance. That is confirming. He said because what he's saying is, oh, what went by two. So now that is the two of them. The both first, well, and Pepper as well. Peter Pepper. So you see, when you read between the lines of this guy that's trying to make defense, there are committing things that have no defense at all. They're committing more offense than having any defense. Bless you, my brother.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's take a very quick break and we'll be right back.
Can't stand the heat and humidity these days? EMS Limited has the most energy efficient inverter AC units on island. Save up to 60% on your energy cost. Invest in a Lennox inverter AC unit. Sizes from 12,000 BTU upwards. Cool, quiet, comfortable, sturdy construction, reliable and efficient. 1-year warranty. Installed and serviced by qualified factory trained technicians. No more heat, no more high bills with our Lennox inverter AC units. Call us today for your free survey and financing options. 255-6830. Website www.emscaribbean.com.
Listen to Q95 everywhere in Dominica on these frequencies: 95.1 FM Roseau and Southwest, 95.7 FM Castleboost and the East, 95.7 FM Grand Bay and the South, 97.5 FM Marigot and the Northeast, 105.7 FM Portsmouth and the North, 105.7 FM Laplaine and the East. We are also on Digicel Play Channel 100 and Channel 904 and Marpin 2K4 Channel 97. Our global website link is www.q95da.com. Link up our YSQFM live audio stream online via TuneIn Radio. Like our exciting program pages on Facebook.com/Q95FM Radio. Follow us on Twitter.com/Q95FM Radio. Check Q95FM Radio videos and photos on Instagram. Listen to our podcasts at Q95FMradio.podbean.com and link us on YouTube at youtube.com/user/Q95FM Radio. Keep it locked to Q95, the big station.
Want internet service that works? Get it from Flow. Want internet service that's reliable and dependable? Get it from Flow. Sign up now and pay nothing for installation and get a free 4-port wireless modem, reliable, dependable internet service on the most secure network that you can trust to get internet service that works. Sign up now at the Flow flagship store or at any of our partner locations. Cabrit's agencies in Portsmouth, Deepex in Roseau, Club DVD in Marigot, or from our field sales agents. You can also call 1-800-804-2994 and someone will visit you to facilitate sign up. Free installation, free modem for the most reliable internet service in Dominica. Get internet that works from Flow, Dominica's most advanced telecommunications provider. This is how we flow.
Anything you're discovering. Got a big bright smile, but my days are dark. Hungry till I can barely walk. Oh, don't watch the look on my face. No, no, don't have no food and my cupboard's dry. Only God knows how I get by. Oh, don't watch the look on my face. No, she's the sweetest thing that you've ever seen. I'm selling her body wasn't in her dreams, no. Don't watch the look on her face, no. No, because we have a pleasant look. If you don't know the story, don't judge the book. Please don't. No, watch the look on my face, no. Even though I smile, it is only for a while. My tears could fill the river.
It's 14, rushing up before the hour 3 o'clock. Remember, at 3 o'clock, we bring you the flow hour. Then at 4 o'clock, we continue.
I will sweep my troubles underneath my pride. Tell me I won't leave you for an inch. Anything you want, just call on him. I say,
Then, of course, at 6 o'clock this evening, at 6 o'clock, governance and the queue, as we continue to look and continue to take a very close look at the issues that concerns us with regards to the economy and to governance in Dominica. And then at 8 o'clock, we bring you a repeat of this critical interview that took place on Sunday during Lifeline. Now we go back to the telephones for the last few minutes with your calls. Let's go first to you. Good afternoon.
Senator, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
This afternoon, is it today that the CARICOM has the opening ceremony?
I am not sure.
They were supposed to be in Grenada today, or is it tomorrow? I'm not too sure. But CARICOM is supposed to meet in Grenada because Keith Mitchell will be heading the CARICOM.
Keith Mitchell is the incoming chairman of CARICOM. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And of course, I do not know if they'll be discussing the Prime Minister's visit to Russia, because too many were saying, well, he went to represent or whatever he did. I do not know if they will be bringing that up. But the position in Venezuela, I do not know what they will be saying either. But you know, in Venezuela, Doc, the present president is not strong, you know. He only won 50%, 51% of the vote, you know.
That's correct, yes.
And the opposition got 49. So therefore, he is in a ding-dong struggle there, but he does not want to give up. And you know, a lot of people has died through violence. You remember they said an ex-policeman who did some bombing somewhere around in Venezuela? I did not follow if they had him caught or what. But the Venezuelan situation is a tight one. I do not know if CARICOM will discuss that. But Doc, you know, in Dominica now we have two sides, you know. Labour Party on one side and UWP on the other side. And then the Labour Party is in control. So they cannot see us. And then they are there, and they are just giving out money in support of saying small business, but I'm not seeing any small business coming up in the territory.
I mean, for the kind of money they've been giving out, if we had small businesses, this country would be flourishing.
Of course, so many dollars I had throwing out, $500,000, 250,000, 100,000, etc., etc. You know, in the Caribbean, when they do the roads, they are contemplating on, and then it is their supporters that get the money to make the little roads, you know. And then the Pal Rep is saying, oh, if you do not want to work, you will not want to work, because guys work. But if you are making 1 mile of road, how many people can get employment? Now, and how long will that employment last? NEP self almost dead. Only 1 or 2 little boys I see with quarters, and they go when they want, they come back when they want, they do whatever they want. So I do not know what is happening in Dominica, but I'll be following on when you all come to the Carib territory. So soon I heard our meeting will be sometime in August or July.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, you have a meeting lined up, I believe, the 16th of August. I'll confirm the date in a while, but
I will
that's correct.
I'll try to come to one nearest one, like when they're in Marigot or Castlebus.
Okay, very well.
Because we will make our group.
Excellent.
And then we will come around and to give some support.
Excellent, you know? Excellent. Thank you.
And then I was reading a small article just recently where they were saying, well, the Prime Minister is a better politician than Mr. Linton. But of course, he has more experience. He has been here since 2000. He's in Parliament, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Linton just came to Parliament in 2014. He has 14 years of experience ahead of Mr. Linton. Mr. Linton was not a politician in all his way. Now he become in 2014, so you cannot compare a man with 17 years in governance with a man with 3 years in governance. So therefore that business of saying he's a better politician, I do not support that.
Well, if he's a better politician, then the way in which he's destroyed this economy of Dominica, impoverished thousands of Dominicans, and have been made poorer on the scarlet.
The only thing of that he has over Mr. Linton is that he has the money.
Yeah, but where did he get it? He certainly did not get this money from his $9,000 salary, right? Because at $9,000 EC a month, you're not going to get this kind of wealth.
Right. So but when it comes to debating skills, he can't debate Mr. Linton. Because Mr. Linton will whip him. Mr. Linton is a better speaker, is a good orator than Mr. Skerritt. Mr. Skerritt counting words, but Mr. Linton flow with words. Is a better orator than
indeed.
Mr. Skerritt. Anyway, continue the program.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Dominicans we need to guard our constitution jealously. We cannot allow this government, for example, to change the constitution, a constitution which for years has sustained us, a constitution which basically made treating and bribery illegal. We cannot allow a government to now say that they're illegal. This should never happen in our democracy. And I hope that the people of Dominica guard this constitution. And when we get electoral reform, it goes with a clean list and a level playing field, and may the best man win. That is how we need to be agitating for electoral reform going forward. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fountain.
Yes, a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon to your listeners.
Yes.
Hey, Doc, let me just say to Michelle, a good conversation this morning. No love lost. We need to continue that kind of conversation and discussion. I'd like us to have an in-depth one in the matter. Now, moving forward on to, let me just touch on Sam Raphael briefly. I think it is dishonest of Sam Raphael to first of all try to blame his failure or not wanting to repay a loan on errors he claimed by the former administration in constructing a loan. And I think of all the things that he said, I think that struck me as something that the public should take note of very carefully. Here is a man who claims to be an astute businessman. He's a millionaire, he claims in his own right. I don't dispute that. But how can you tell me that you took a loan from an institution, whether it's the government or not, you have an obligation to repay that loan, whether it's secured by collateral or whether it is unsecured? I think it is patently dishonest of Sam Raphael, and I'm sadly to say I'm disappointed in his attitude and approach as a businessman to a loan of $6 million took from the government and now claiming that it was error on the part of the former administration, while this administration decided to discontinue it because he's in the camp and so he can go out and be a political assassin to assassinate the character of other people just for him to get a drawdown. But I tell you, if I know Skerritt, he can wait. He had to wait a long time before he get a drawdown. Now, more to the point of the electoral reform. And here, I am very concerned about the position and the status of the courts, the judges, and the legal system in Dominica. Because remember, they keep telling us, if you have a problem, go to the court. Why are we going to the court? Because it would appear to me, and the manner in which they behave suggests to me, that they seem to have a preview into what decision the court is likely to make. Or I get the impression, and it suggests to me, that it would appear that judges discuss certain matters in the court with government parties. Electoral reform is something that a decision was taken by a duly constituted board of the Electoral Commission with a quorum to have electoral reform. It was Anthony Astafan who wrote to the Prime Minister telling him that madness was going on and that if he had let them proceed with the electoral reform, his winning legacy would be lost. He immediately summoned Alec Lawrence, somebody who claimed to have written on about the Constitution, the sacredness of the Constitution. And here he is, put on the board to stall, deny, prevent any sort of electoral reform at all. A man like Alec Lawrence, who was an island scholar, allow himself to be led astray by Anthony Estefan. That is disgraceful. And if you talk about slavery, that is slavery for you. You cannot tell me, Bob Marley rightly said it, free ourselves from mental slavery. I think Alec Lawrence is completely under mental slavery. And so is most of those other people who are around listening to the kind of cow dung that Anthony Estefan spews. We must call on Gerald Burton, and we must name them by name. Gerald Burton, Kondwani Williams, and Alec Lawrence. The people of Dominica elected you or depend on you as the guardians of our democracy. You have the key to the door. Why are you allowing a rogue government, a criminal enterprise, for your own personal benefit to destroy the democracy that we inherited? We cannot replace it because we can't do anything better. We say it's colonialism. But if this is the alternative to colonialism, I'd rather go back to the days of colonialism any day in my life.
Yes, indeed.
Serve under the criminal enterprise.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. We are just about out of time here this afternoon. Let me thank you for joining us for this couple of hours of Talk on the Block for today, Tuesday. We continue our conversation on governance and economy at 6 o'clock tonight. 6 to 8 on the big station. Let me just remind you, of course, that there are several meetings on electoral reform taking place across the island.